Good morning, Stampers. Happy Friday. Welcome to another Facebook Live. My name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Sherwood Park, Alberta, and I'm excited to be here to craft with you today. I am just going to refresh my screen so I can see any comments. Be sure as you join in, be sure to say hi. And if you're watching the replay, just comment that you're watching the replay so that I know that you've watched it. It's always nice to see who is watching. Okay, why can't I see my video here? Let's see. Oh, here we go. Let's make it bigger, make sure the sound is off so that I don't hear any background noise. Okay, all right. So welcome to today's Facebook Live. We are gonna craft some love today. So we're gonna use some of my favorite loved themed products from the Occasions catalog. And speaking of the Occasions catalog, if you are in Canada and you do not have copies yet of the Occasions and Celebration catalog and would like copies, hard copies, because I know it's so much better to flip through a physical copy than it is to flip through online, then just comment in the section below, send me a private message with your snail mail address, and I will happily pop them in the mail for you. Good morning, Peggy and Landra. I'm happy to have you guys join us this morning. Okay, first up, let's do the draw for last week's projects. So just a reminder for anybody who has forgotten or maybe missed last week's Facebook Live, we created these two projects, and you can always scroll back if you're watching from Facebook. You can always see the videos if you just scroll down, or you can visit my blog at stamptreasures.com. I always post the replay on my blog, or you can check my YouTube channel. So there's lots of ways that you can watch that. And the ways that you can get entered to win the prizes for each week is by commenting on the Facebook Live. I'm just going to swipe the comments here. Commenting on the Facebook Live, or sharing the Facebook Live, or commenting on the Facebook, the YouTube replay, sorry, because I always check those comments as well. And if you do share the replay, depending on your Facebook settings, sometimes I can't see who is sharing. So if you do share the video, whether it's on YouTube or on Facebook, if you can just post in the comments that you did share so that I can make sure that you get entries, because you get 5 entries for sharing the video. Okay, all right, so I've got everybody's name in here. Let's draw the winner. And we've got Mary Liz. So Mary Liz will get these. I will pass those along to her next time I see her. I will see her at my junk journal class in a little bit more than a week. Okay, so I am going to turn the camera around so you can see what we're crafting with, and we will go ahead and get started. So just bear with me for just a second. Okay, let's see. Hey Beth, I'm glad you can join us. See how that looks here. Okay, we'll start with that and see how it goes. Thank you for sharing, Beth. Okay, so get this guy out of the way. So some of my favorite projects, or Valentine, Halloween, oh my gosh, way off on the occasion there. Some of my favorite Valentine's themed products in the Occasions catalog are some great ones. And it's kind of a mix and match from some different things in here. So I'm gonna share all the products with you that I absolutely love, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So first up, the stamp set, this stamp set. Hey love, hi Kathy. Happy to have you join us. This Hey Love stamp set is so adorable. And I think it's great. I don't think it's going to be just for Valentine's Day either. I created a baby card using this cute little otter. And I think it would be good for some birthday cards as well for younger kids. I think it's gonna be a great one. And the images are just so adorable. And of course I love anything that you can color. So that's the stamp set that we're going to use today. And just a little heads up, this is the stamp set that we're going to be using for this month's class in the mail as well. And that will be released on Tuesday. For those of you who were in class last night, you saw the projects and they're pretty cute. But it will be released on my blog at stamptreasures.com on Tuesday. So you'll be able to see that. And if you're on my email list, an email will go out as well. Okay? All right, and then next up we've got these framelits. Now I forgot to look up the name of these framelits. They're part of a bundle. So page 6 of the Occasions catalog. They are called the Be Mine Stitched Framelits, and they've got a cute little heart-themed Valentine set that you can get as a bundle if you choose. I chose to just get the framelits because I love hearts. Hearts are great for cards, they're great for scrapbooking, they're great for lots of different things. So, and I loved that so many of them are stitched. I love stitched framelits. So, and lots of opportunity to use these as well. So we're gonna use those today. And then we've got the heart epoxy droplets. So there's 3 different sized hearts in here, and they're sticky and they're clear. But what you can do is you can use your Stampin' blends and color them, so you can get them in any color you want. So I love those. And then the ribbon, this is called the All My Love ribbon combo pack. And it comes with the wider flirty flamingo, and then the wider lovely lipstick, and the narrow flirty flamingo ribbon. So we're using some of that. Happy Friday to you too, Shirley. And then from the Celebration catalog, so this is a product that you can earn for free with a $60 order, is the Grapefruit Grove and Lovely Lipstick foil. And this foil is amazing. So this is the Lovely Lipstick foil. You can kind of see the shimmer. I think it looks very different on camera, based on my screen anyways. So Lovely Lipstick, and then look at this one. It's almost like it's iridescent, like it's so fun. This is the Grapefruit Grove. In different light, depending on what light is shining on it, it looks like different colors. So when you look at it without any direct light shining on it, it does look like it's Grapefruit Grove, so kind of a peachy, orangey kind of color. Yes, that paper is gorgeous, isn't it, Kathy? But then when light shines on it, you can kind of see some oranges and some greens and sometimes some blues. You can see, actually I'm looking on my computer screen and I can see that you guys can see a lot of blues in there. So it is lots of fun to work with. Good morning, Christine. So we're gonna use some of that today too. All right, so you ready to see what we are going to create today? We are going to create this cute, stinking cute little shaker card, Valentine themed shaker card with the little skunk. I love that little skunk. And then when you open it, it says, "You are stinking sweet." So I love that little guy. And then we are gonna do a little treat holder as well, because based on some of your feedback, there are several of you who still do treats for coworkers, neighbors, friends, and classmates as well. So we will definitely do a treat as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Thank you, Shirley. Okay, so let me grab my pieces here. Okay, so we're starting, our card base is a Whisper White, thick white card base. It measures the usual size, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I've got a piece of Lovely Lipstick that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I've gone ahead and I've embossed it with the tufted embossing folder. You guys know that that's one of my favorite in the annual catalog, my favorite embossing folders. So I've gone ahead and embossed that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this heart framelit and bring in my Big Shot, and we're gonna cut, good morning, Mary Liz. We're gonna cut this out of the center. So that's what we're gonna start with. So I've got my Big Shot with my magnetic platform, and I'm just gonna put this in the center. Okay, I think I'm happy with the positioning of that. Run that through. That's gonna cut out my heart-shaped window. Get this out of the way. For those of you that are just joining us, we're making a little shaker card today. this cute little Valentine's themed shaker card using the Hey Love stamp set from the Occasions catalog. Okay, so we are going to use this one for this project. This we'll set aside and we're going to use it for the second project. Okay, so now there are two ways that you can do this. You can center this on here, use a pencil and trace the window, because what you want to do is you want to make sure that you kind of have your focal point in the center of the heart, or where you'd like it in the heart anyways. So you can trace it, but because I am using Stampin' blends to color this, I can't actually stamp right on this card base, because otherwise when I color, it will show through the back side. So I have to do a layer for that skunk. So I'm not too concerned. The only thing that I need to do with my heart here, so that I have the positioning, is just do my ground, because my ground I'm gonna do right on here. So to do the ground, I'm going to take a brown, this is our Early Espresso pencil crayon. And again, if I chose to put a white layer on here, I could use the Stampin' blends to do it. But because I didn't, I wanted to do it right on the card base. I'm choosing to use pencil crayons for the ground. So I'm just gonna lightly color a little bit of ground here. And you can choose to color in your skunk however you would like. Hey Brett, happy you can join us. You haven't missed much. This is the card that we're crafting. We're making a little shaker card with the Hey Love stamp set. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my blender pen and I'm just gonna soften that just a little bit. It just blends it and softens that pencil crayon look just a little bit. Okay, so the ground is done. So for this particular example, I didn't necessarily need to add that or draw the heart to use as a template so that I can position everything where I want it. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to flip this over, and I've got a piece of a window sheet here, which is something that we carry in the catalog, in the annual catalog. Beth, yeah, it is stinking cute, isn't it? It comes in 12 by 12 sheets. You get 2 sheets in a package, and I cut it down to 3 by 4, and I'm just going to add some adhesive on here because we need to put something, oh my, we need to put something behind this so that all of our shaker stuff doesn't fall out. So then I'm going to add my window sheet and just make sure I'm not too concerned whether it's straight, nobody's gonna see it, just as long as that heart-shaped window is covered over, okay? And then we are going to take some of our foam adhesive strips. So these are kind of like, these are like our dimensionals, and they're just long strips. So rather than just honeycomb shape, they're just long strips. So you can kind of curve them around to the shape that you need. Okay, so I'm basically going to do that all the way around my heart. And it's a little bit easier if you do it, you don't just use one huge long piece, if you do it in sections. So, and the other thing that you want to be careful of is you want to, depending on what you're putting inside your shaker, you want to make sure that the gaps in between anything are not very substantial. For this particular one, I don't have to worry too much. You'll see what I put in here. But for another one that I'm going to show you, I left a bit too big of a gap on the bottom. So when I put my card up, some of the stuffing, or whatever you want to call it, it falls out every time I tip my card up. So I might have to just take off that top layer and just adjust that a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay, that looks good. All right, and then the other thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to take a couple pieces of this, I'm just gonna snip it, and I'm gonna put it on the four corners. And I like to use the same adhesive just because I know it's the same height. Because I found that when I mix dimensionals, like I know that the dimensionals that come in Paper Pumpkin, has anybody else noticed that they're just a little bit thicker than our regular dimensionals? So you can't combine the two, otherwise it's kind of uneven, okay? So that doesn't look very nice, but when you flip it over, you're not gonna see any of that, okay? So we're gonna leave that aside for a minute, and I'm gonna bring in a piece of white cardstock and my little skunk. I'm going to use Memento ink because I'm coloring him with Stampin' blends. Kathy Lovell calls it shrapnel instead of stuffing. Yeah, well, that's a good, yep, that's a good word to call it. Okay, so I'm inking him up well. I'm just gonna stamp him on here. Get this out of the way. Okay, and then we're gonna color him in. Initially, when I first was designing this card, I colored him in using light basic black, and you couldn't see, it was just blending. I colored in his face and you couldn't see any of the details on his face. The black is just too dark. So he looks better when he's colored in with dark smoky slate. So I'm just gonna quickly do that. And I'm not worried about shadowing or anything. He's just gonna get colored in. I'm not gonna do any blending or anything. So, and when I use my Stampin' blends, I really like a light touch, and I try not to go too close to the edge because I find they do bleed out a little bit. He's so cute. I love all the little images in here. The only one I haven't used yet is the little crocodile or alligator. I'm not sure. What is the difference between a crocodile and an alligator? Does anybody know? Because I know that there is a difference. Okay, and then we'll do his tail. Coloring around the hearts. And the hearts are gonna get, I'm not gonna include the hearts because he's gonna be fussy cut. So the only two hearts that I'll color in will be these two hearts, because those will be included when I cut him out. Okay. So that was light smoky slate, and then I'm gonna use the light basic black and just color his nose. Isn't he cute? And then I'm gonna use Flirty Flamingo and color in, like I said, just these two little hearts. Okay, and then through the magic of television, we've got one that's cut out. So you'll see that he will lighten a little bit. So you can see that that's when it's freshly colored, and then this was colored a couple days ago. So he does lighten a little bit. Okay, so we'll set that aside. And then I'm going to, okay, let's see here. We're gonna stick him on there, but what I wanna do first is I just wanna make sure that my positioning is okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that, okay. So I'm gonna add some adhesive to the back. Landra says that the crocodile's nose is longer. Okay. Thank you, Landra. Okay, so we're gonna stick him on there. And then another thing that I'm going to do that I did not do on this one, you'll see in a minute. Okay, so I've got a little container here with a ton of little hearts in it. Now these hearts came from this border die, which is in this framelit set. So I used, let's get that out of the way. So I cut out several of these. This is what it looks like when you cut it out. So you get this gorgeous border, but then you end up with all these little hearts to use on different projects as well. So of course you want to save those so that you can use them and create little shaker pockets like this. So I've gone ahead and cut out some Flirty Flamingo, some lovely lipstick, and some lovely lipstick foil, okay? So I'm just gonna dump this out and pick and choose a few here. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick a couple of them down, just so that, okay, when the card is up like this, you've got nothing around there. And I kind of wanted to see some of those hearts. When you shake it, it looks great. They're all over the place. But when it's standing up on the shelf, all the hearts fall down to the bottom, so you don't see a lot. So I want to just add a couple up at the top. So I'm going to use mini glue dot. I'll pick one foil one. Let's find a little tiny flirty flamingo. Let's see. We'll do it right here. Actually, no, let's do it down here. Okay. All right, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna grab my bone folder here. I'm gonna make this a little bit crisper so it sits flat. Because what I'm going to do is I'm gonna choose a few of these and just set them on top of the skunk. A mixture of sizes and colors. Need some small flirty or small foil ones. I don't have too many foil ones left here. A couple more small ones. Okay, all right, and then I'm going to take, in the annual catalog, we have something called Tranquil Textures Sprinkles. And in here, they're just like little beads. So I want the white ones only. So I'm just going to pick some out. And then just put them on here. So I'll just keep adding some. You could use the blue ones, but I really want to stick with just the pinks and the whites on this card. Okay, I'll get a few more. Maybe one more batch here. Okay. All right, I think that's good. Let's put the lid on this so I don't spill it. Okay, so, and I'm still holding this down because I don't want it to flip up. And I probably should have peeled off the backing on this first. So now you want to go back and you want to peel off all of the backing from all these strips. And then this piece measures 4 by 5 1/4, so you're gonna have about 1/8 of an inch. I just need to stand up so I can have a better view here. I'm gonna position this so that it has about 1/8 of an inch on all 4 sides. That looks pretty good. And then we've got our shaker. I probably could have put a few more things in there. Isn't that cute? And it's pretty simple to do. The key is to remember to put your window sheet on before you add your dimensional adhesive around the shape. Okay, so now we're gonna add our greeting. So I've got a strip of Whisper White cardstock and I'm going to pick the Hey Valentine, which is, oh, here it is. Hey Valentine greeting from the Hey Love stamp set. I'm gonna use Memento Black. And stamp it on the strip and use my scissors and just angle cut this, and I'm gonna cut this so that it's straight. And then while I have my ink out and this little scrap of cardstock, I'm going to stamp the Stinkin' Sweet greeting. Okay, so we'll cover that over and set it aside. And then remember those two ribbons that I showed you, the Lovely Lipstick and the Flirty Flamingo? I've gone ahead and I took a 5-inch strip of the Lovely Lipstick, folded it in half, and then tied the Flirty Flamingo around it. And Mary Liz says, great idea to adhere some of the blank, some to the blank space when sitting on the desk. Bugged me too. Yeah, I thought that it would be a good idea to have something up there just so that when it all falls down, especially because the heart is so pointed, and when you've got the greeting on it, then you can see even less. So I thought that was a good idea too. Okay, so I'm gonna stick this across here, and then I'll use a mini glue dot to add this onto the side. And look at that, isn't that cute? But then we need to do something on the inside. So I've gone ahead and cut a Lovely Lipstick heart, and that is from the same framelit set that we've been using. And I'm going to stamp, I'm gonna use the lined alphabet stamp set, and I'm gonna use the U and the R. And my Memento ink. Let's get this out of the way here. I love this stamp set. Okay, well, this is hard to see here. I love that emoji, Brett. Okay, and then the R. And then we're gonna put Stinkin' Sweet, and we're gonna put that on the inside. Okay. All right, so this is gonna go in here, just in the center. And then let's make this just a little bit smaller and have the things going this way. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of adhesive to this. There we go. Isn't that cute? Hey, Shelly. Happy that you can join us. We're making a cute little shaker card. So, that was the first project that I wanted to make today. So a cute little shaker card so that you guys know how, but let me show you one that I created with the adorable frog set that is in the Celebration catalog. I thought this is kind of girly, so I wanted to create one that was more for the boys. So I used a different embossing folder, and I used Granny Apple Green, and then the frog is colored in using Stampin' Blends and then Fussy Cut. I still used the hearts. I used Old Olive and Granny Apple Green and Grapefruit Grove, so you can see that iridescent one in there. But then I don't know how well you guys can see, but we used to, in one of our kits a few years ago, you got a little bag of this super fine, I don't even know what it is. They're not beads. Maybe it's like chunky glitter. I don't know what it is, but anyways, I had it left over because I obviously didn't use it. So I thought, oh, it'd be fun to include that in there. So I included it in there, but it's super fine. And my joint is right at the bottom of the card. So every time I stand it up, just a little bit more of that falls out. So I'm gonna have to maybe take an extra piece of dimensional and just tuck it right underneath there, right at the seam, so that it doesn't fall out. But I thought it turned out really, really cute. Okay, so there's an alternative for you. You don't just have to make things that are for the girls. Oh, I'm just looking at this. I think we need to trim. That's not super centered. I'll have to take my paper cutter and trim a little bit off that side. Okay, next up, we've got a little treat holder. So you know me and having to use everything up. We cut this heart out of the shaker card. Now we need to actually do something with this card, or with this heart. So let me just get these out of the way here. Okay, so we are going to create this cute little treat pouch using it. Okay, so it's still basically the same supplies. I threw in our 2x8 cello bags because they're the perfect size to put little treats in. I've gone ahead and stuffed the bag with treats and tied my bow using the lovely lipstick ribbon. And then I've got my heart already cut. And then I need my ribbon, or sorry, my paper and my stamps. Let's take everything out here so that I have it. Okay, so we're coloring with the blends again. I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock. I'm going to use my Memento ink, and this time I'm going to stamp the otter. Just stamp him in the middle because he'll be cut out. And then while I've got my ink out, I'm going to stamp my greeting. And the greeting says, "You otter be my Valentine." Isn't that so cute? Love it. Okay. So then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna color him in. Set that aside. I'm going to use light crumb cake first. This time I am gonna add a little bit of shadowing. So I'm not being too particular about whether or not I make it all the way to the edges because I can touch that up when I add my second coat. Or when I do my blending, I guess. Okay, and then I'll go back in with some dark crumb cake, and I'm just going to add just a little bit, kind of under where I would assume that it would be a little bit on the darker side. And then I will go back in and blend that. I'm not one of those people that knows where the shadow, I can't envision that, where the shadows would be. I mean, obviously underneath where his feet are and maybe where his arms are, you'd get a little bit darker. So I just guess, and really it doesn't matter. Okay, and then I'm just going back, and anything that I didn't kind of touch up right around the edges, I'm just going back and just making sure that it's colored in right to the edges. Okay, and I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to use my Flirty Flamingo to color the heart. And then I'll fussy cut him, and it'll look like this. And I'm going to use dimensionals to stick him onto the heart. And then I'm going to add one of those, oh, you know what I forgot to add on the card? We have to go back to the card in a minute here. We'll finish this first. Okay, so he's going to get added right on the side there. And I'm going to take one of the heart epoxy shapes. And there's one size, I think it's the smallest size, that fits perfectly. Yeah. So I'll pick one of those small ones off and just add it right on top of the heart there. And then we've got our greeting, which I will just trim to make it a little bit smaller. These would be so cute to give co-workers or friends, or even to make with your kids for Valentine's Day. I know some schools, they don't, you can't bring in candy, but you could easily pop a pencil and an eraser in one of these 2x8 cello bags and then just do the same kind of, like a similar tag. And if you start now, it wouldn't take long. Like, you could do it over a few days, and your kids kind of, as they feel like it, they can color in their little images. so then you don't have to do it all at once. So now I'm using my 1/16 inch circle punch. I'm going to punch a hole there, grab some white baker's twine and feed that through. And I don't know if you guys know this trick, but this is a flosser for when you have braces so that you can feed the floss through. And this is a lifesaver. Look at that. That feeds through beautifully. And it helps when when you feed through a button as well. Okay, so it also will help with this. So I'm gonna slide this through. And pull that through. And then I will just tie a knot and he will be done. Or she, I guess. Trim this. And there we go. Isn't it cute? So cute. Okay, so I want to pull my card back in because I forgot to add the epoxy shapes. So I am going to add one of each, not epoxy shapes, epoxy hearts. Thanks, Brett. Okay, so I'm gonna add one of each size, and I really need my paper piercer. Scissors don't work quite as well as a paper piercer. I find I don't have as much control. So I'm gonna put the big one there, I'll put the middle one. Middle one over here, and then a little one. Not very straight. Okay, there we go. So those are the two projects. All right, so this week, if you place an order between today, so the 11th and the 17th, from my online store, and you use this host code, I will send you the pieces to make these two projects. And that's as long as your order is over 50, but you'll want to bump it up to 60 so that you can get something for free out of that celebration catalog, definitely. And just a reminder that next week on Tuesday, the class in the mail will be released. And like I said, I gave you a little hint that it's going to be using the Hey Love stamp set, so you'll want to check that out for sure. It's really, really cute. And there's bonuses to sign up within the first 2 days, so you'll definitely want to check that out. All right. Remember that if you comment on this post, you'll get entered to win these projects. So I will draw next week for one lucky winner to receive these. And if you share, make sure you comment that you shared the video so that I know that you shared it, because like I mentioned, sometimes I don't see who it is that shared because of your Facebook settings. Okay. Thank you, Lorraine. I think they are pretty sweet. They turned out really cute. And I love this little froggy too. So, I mean, just look at the stamp sets that you have and you could create something similar using these layouts, and it would be super fun. I love shaker cards. They're so cute. Okay, so thanks so much for watching. Have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you next Friday. Take care.